everyone, Cidalia here. Today I want to introduce you to John Priest from Prospect Mortgage.
Good morning.
John, thank you so much for joining us. John, I was just wondering if you could shed some light with us today on what should a borrower be looking for when they choose a lender.
I think the most important thing is a comfort level with the person they're dealing with. It's not all about the institution that you work with, it's the loan officer's knowledge and expertise that really drives home a successful transaction. This is the most important and biggest financial decision that most people make in their lifetime, and to have someone that they can look at as an advocate and someone that can also counsel them and advise them along the process and someone they're comfortable with can be very important to take as much stress out of a very stressful transaction.
Right. And so can you tell me what the difference is between a bank and a mortgage broker and a lender?
Well, we'll talk about what's not different. First, all of those institutions can provide mortgage financing, but depending on the institution you're dealing with in their makeup, it could make some changes in the process. For instance, a bank certainly does mortgages. However, they write checking accounts, they write personal loans, they write auto loans, and you may deal with someone on the mortgage level that they do all of those other things, where the mortgage financing end of it would not be their expertise. And that may create some gaps and some anxiety through the process. A credit union, much like a bank, can do mortgages as well. But again, they probably don't have a dedicated mortgage professional handling mortgages exclusively. And a mortgage broker acts as a middleman. So they will take your loan application, they'll place it with another lender. They don't have the lending authority. They can't lock your interest rate for you. They can only accomplish all of those things once the transaction has been approved. Where if you deal with a direct mortgage lender, all they do is mortgages, so that's their specialty.
And John, that's what you are, correct?
We are a direct mortgage lender, yes.
Okay. And John, a lot of times buyers are just curious, what documents are they going to need over the process?
Everybody's situation is different, but I will tell you that there are some things that fall into place on all transactions, and trying to get this documentation together early on in the process can really help for a smooth transaction. Typically, a borrower needs their most recent pay stub if they're employed. If they're self-employed, they would need their previous 2 years tax returns, along with 2 years of W-2s and 30 to 60 days of most recent bank statements covering at least 30 to 60 days of account activity.
Okay, so that would be the basics of
Those are the basics, yep, absolutely.
Okay. And there's a lot of buzz out there in terms of what a score needs to be. Typically, I know all situations are a little different, but what's the minimum score a buyer would need to have?
As of late, pretty much industry-wide, the minimum credit score that a borrower would need to enter into a mortgage loan application is 620. And when we say score, it is the middle score of the three major bureaus, which is Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion.
Okay, perfect. And you can provide that information to the buyer?
Absolutely. Either at an initial face-to-face consultation or an over-the-phone consultation, we can take the information needed to pull an initial credit report, which could also lead toward either initial pre-approval or pre-qualification, so you have that with you when you start looking at homes.
Perfect. And once you have this first conversation and start this initial process, what's the typical time frame from the first phone call to obtaining a pre-approval?
Generally, that can be done the same day, depending on the complexity of the borrower's situation. So in that initial phone conversation, in the absence of a face-to-face interview, if there's more detailed documentation that I may need to get a pre-approval, I can contact the person usually the same day, make arrangements to get that information, and then once received, with about an hour or so, I can have that ready.
Perfect, John. Well, I do think all this information is critical. We'll definitely keep people posted on other information. And if someone needs to reach you, what's the best number to reach you at?
My direct line is area code 508-692-6554, or you can email me at john.priest@prospectmtg.com.
Well, thank you everyone. For any additional comments, concerns, or information on getting a pre-approval, connect with John, or feel free to email me at Cidalia, that's Cidalia, @kw.com. Make it a